Hello everybody, my name is Paige Unger and today we're going to be discussing the idea of medical professionals and their overall well-being. I first want to start off by introducing a few topics we'll be discussing today. First one being why medical professionals need to focus on their overall well-being, and secondly, how to make sure you're keeping yourself happy and healthy as a medical professional. Since you are all going into the surgical tech world, I want you to take a second and think about what stressors you might be facing on a daily basis. Now, these stressors may be different from somebody who may be even in a different medical field or in a different field in general, but I just want you to get that idea rolling in the back of your head. And we could probably name an unlimited amount of stressors just for this topic alone. But a few of them include dealing with high demand patients, so people who just require a little bit more time than others. Second one being handling emergent situations. Now that's something that we're going to have to face as surgical technologists, mostly could be on a daily basis. I mean, surgery is very volatile, so you never know what could happen. And then being forced to deal with illnesses that we see today, this being COVID-19, and it comes with the inevitable recoveries and deaths, both of which come with their own long list of stressors. And what I'm trying to get at is that being in the medical profession comes with its own baggage, and we as medical professionals have to be able to handle all of that and still stay well or have an overall good well-being, because if not, then we won't be able to handle situations well. We can't give the support to other people as we should. So as we just discussed, healthcare workers deal with a wide variety of stressors, and with that comes a lot of emotions. These can include sadness, happiness, anger, frustration, joy, worry, and the list can go on, but those are just some emotions you may face on a daily basis, and some of these you could even face within an hour. You never know what's going to happen, but you're just going to be faced with a lot of emotions overall. And being a medical professional is obviously a high-stress job, as we just discussed. Handling life or death situations is not an easy task for anybody. It is well known that people in the medical field put their own needs on the back burner and they take care of everybody else. We see that today with the pandemic that is happening. People are putting their lives on the line every day and taking care of others without personal protective equipment because of low supplies, but that is just an example. There are plenty of other ways that healthcare workers are selfless and put their needs behind themselves and put others before them. And it's often known that medical professionals kind of have a different lifestyle, so they don't treat themselves with as much respect as they should. So they do things like they smoke or they drink. Like, these are coping mechanisms that they could use because of all the stressful situations they face on a daily basis. But it's just known that a lot of times people in the medical profession don't take care of themselves as they should. As we know, healthcare workers work very long days, and it is incredibly taxing on the body, especially since most of the time these workers have to work through their breaks. As we know, as surgical technologists, sometimes you're going to be in a case and you're not going to be able to take your break because of the kind of case that it is, that you need to just stay in there and finish it off and continue doing what you're doing instead of having somebody come in and sub for you. So that's just something that we have to keep in mind and be able to take care of ourselves properly, despite the fact that we're not getting a break that we deserve and what we need because we're taking care of other people's needs. And these environments can be incredibly toxic. Patients and physicians expect perfection, and always having that riding on your back can be incredibly stressful. It is known, as we all know, that perfection is expected, and that is not an easy thing that we can deal with. And I mean, it's something that we strive for, but obviously nobody's perfect, and it's not always going to be an ideal situation. Alrighty. Stressful environments and mental health challenges go hand in hand. According to the Mental Health First Aid, depression, burnout, and suicide rates occur at higher rates in medical professions than in any other field. And also according to the Mental Health First Aid, 1 in 3 doctors are clinically depressed. And another interesting statistic is that approximately 400 physicians take their own lives every year. I like to say that we fear the things we don't understand, and I believe mental health falls into this category very easily. Adam Hill, a pediatric palliative care doctor, said, "Part of the problem is that doctors stigmatize mental illness and treat it differently than they do physical frailties." And I find this idea incredibly interesting because you would assume that as medical professionals, you would know that there is a hand-in-hand connection between mental health and physical health, and that if the mind isn't well, the body isn't well. And this is demonstrated when people come into their general physicians seeking treatment for something like an upset stomach or chronic headaches, when in reality, they actually have some kind of mental disorder going on. So chronic illness and mental illness kind of go hand in hand as well. Many of the healthcare workers are scared to get help because they fear licensing concerns. A 2011 study found more than 60% of surgeons who had experienced suicidal thoughts were reluctant to seek help because of these ideas. And I find that incredibly sad because there's such a stigma behind mental health that they're scared to the point that they might lose their licensing. When in reality, you can seek mental health uh, help and you'll still be able to function properly and be completely a normal human being. You just need to get a little bit of help. Alrighty, with all of that being said, it is completely possible to manage being a healthcare worker and live a well-balanced, healthy life and to manage stress well. According to Skills Training Australia, there are 5 ways to help manage stress as a medical worker. First one being share your problems. A problem shared is a problem halved. This means it's important to debrief after stressful situations because sharing feelings can help validate and normalize emotional responses to tough situations. This ties into having a stress or an important support system inside and out of work. I can't stress that enough, that having a support system is going to completely increase your mental health and your overall well-being as a human being, not just a medical worker. In all aspects of life, it's important to have a strong support system. The next one is it's okay to cry. When you've witnessed something like struggle, suffering, or death, it's a natural response to want to cry. Healthcare workers want to stay composed in front of their families and colleagues, but it's important to let emotions out when it's appropriate. Another one, don't get angry, find a solution. It's important to find a solution rather than paying attention to the angry internal dialogue you may be having. Another option is to seek help for a solution. There's always ways around a problem and there's always people there to help. So it's important to remind yourself that you're not alone and that there are other people who can help you work through any situation. And remembering to breathe is incredibly important. When faced with intense situations, the fight or flight response turns on, and you want to quiet your sympathetic nervous system so you can act accordingly, which is why it is important to step back and just take a breath sometimes. And it's okay to do that. A lot of people just forget about this and how important it is to just take a step back and reanalyze everything and to calm down a little bit. And then finally, it's important to switch off and have some fun. When not in the work environment, no matter what went on during that day, it's important to switch off all of the bad and negativity that you're facing and focus on some kind of relaxation techniques to help relieve the stress. You surround yourself with good people, some positive people, and do activities that you enjoy. Anything to help get your mind off of what happened during the day and focus on something good. If you can take better care of yourself, you can care for other people better. And that's so important to remember, that if you're not feeling well, you can't help other people as well as you could if you were feeling well. And I like to remind everybody it's important to seek help when it's needed, whether that be physical help or mental help. It's never a bad thing to go and seek help. And no matter what the stigma may be behind mental health help, it's so important to receive it when it's necessary. Otherwise, things can blow up into way bigger situations than they should be. Alrighty, I just want to do a quick recap. Healthcare workers face huge amounts of stress on a daily basis, as we have discussed in length in this presentation. Mental health help is crucial. Like I said, a good mind is a good body, and reverse. And there are many ways to help deal with stress in healthy ways, as we just discussed. And that is just a very small list of things to do. I know physical activity is a really important thing to do on a daily basis to maintain an overall good well-being, because it ties so closely into mental health and physical health. There's so much research behind the idea of physical activity and increasing your mental health and your physical health, obviously, but yeah, like I said, it's just so important to do that. So thank you all so much for coming today. Hope you took a little bit away from this presentation. And yeah, have a good day.